It is the 27th of November, and I'm pretty sure I am pregnant. The symptoms are too familiar, right? Too familiar. Tiredness, exhaustion, nausea. So I'm going to take a test and let's confirm. Because if I'm not pregnant, then it means I need to get myself to the hospital to find out what's wrong with me. So let's go. Can you see that? I'm pregnant.
What is it? Hey. I just knew that you were pregnant.
Did you suspect?
Yes. You told me your this thing was 4 days ago.
Oh, see the smile on your face.
You're not serious.
See the smile on your face.
You knew.
And I think I'm going to go into labor today. I've been having cramps. I'm your mommy, and this is your daddy. Hey. Hey. Hello. As you can already tell from the beginning of the video, I have a new baby. I'm now a mother to 2 children, to 2 beautiful, adorable girls. So if you've been wondering why I have been absent from my channel or haven't been posting videos in the past number of months, then that is the reason. I was pregnant, obviously, and I had a baby, and it's been almost 4 months since I had a baby. And I wanted to go straight into, just creating my regular content for YouTube, but I wanted to do a live update video first, because not everyone subscribed to me here, follows me on Instagram, and so you may not be aware that I already had a baby if you're not following me on Instagram, right? So I just wanted to, sort of use this video as a bridge or a transition video so that in subsequent videos, if a baby shows up, you're not very confused and wondering, where did this baby come from? Now, as usual, I wanted to keep my pregnancy private. It was the same thing I did when I was pregnant with my first child. And I planned to share, right, a lot more this time around, but for health reasons and for some other reasons, I ended up keeping the pregnancy private, even on Instagram, till I eventually had my baby. So compared to my first pregnancy, right, this felt a bit challenging health-wise. Now, people usually say pregnancies are different and children are different and all of that, even when they come from the same woman, and that saying is not cliche at all. One of my cousins, when she came over, asked me, which of the pregnancies I prefer, whether I prefer the first one or the second one, and my response was, to be honest, I can't tell. And truly, I can't tell, I mean, in some aspects, I can say I prefer this to that, or I prefer that to this, but generally, they've been different in their own ways, right? So for instance, since I did not experience in my first pregnancy, I experienced in my second pregnancy. Since I did not experience in my second pregnancy, I experienced in my first pregnancy. And all of that, postpartum has also been a different experience for both times. And it's just been very, very interesting to go through. During my first pregnancy, I had a condition called hyperemesis gravidarum, which is extreme morning sickness, right? That lasts for usually a period of 3 months for some people, and for some others, longer, right? My first pregnancy lasted for about 3 months. So like it started from when I was about 5 weeks pregnant and lasted till I was about maybe almost entering my 4th month, right, before I totally recovered from it. And when I went through that, I remember like nurses telling me, oh, this is because it's your first pregnancy, you'll be fine. Some family members said, oh, it's because it's your first pregnancy, the second will not be like this. And it made me very hopeful, but I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Apparently, if you had hyperemesis gravidarum in your first pregnancy, right, or in a pregnancy, there's a high chance that you have it in subsequent pregnancies, because that's what happened to me, right? And that's also what my gynecologist said. In fact, for the first 5 weeks, because again, this time around, it started around the same time. I think when I was around about 5 weeks, right? That's when I submitted myself to the hospital, you know. But okay, no, I went to the hospital before then because I wanted to register for antenatal early. I wanted the hospital to have my record early and all of that. I had totally forgotten when the condition started during my first pregnancy. So during this time, when I was about 4 weeks, 5 weeks pregnant, and I was still okay, I was still able to eat stuff, I was still tolerating smells, I still had my energy levels and all of that. I remember bragging to my husband and bragging to a friend and saying, oh my God, this pregnancy is so different. You know, and everyone was happy because they saw how miserable I was, you know, during my first trimester with my first pregnancy, right? So everyone that saw me that knew I was pregnant, you know, this time around, and saw how energetic and better I looked, you know, was happy that, oh, thank God this pregnancy is going to go well. In fact, even my mother-in-law was like, times when she would call to find out and I'll tell her, oh, I'm feeling okay. It's not like the first one. She was happy. And then like 5 weeks, 6 weeks came and everything started changing. And I was just like, oh my God, please don't tell me this is what is happening again. And then when I now spoke to my gynecologist when she was asking me for my history, because I changed hospitals. If you remember, if you watched my video when I was talking about like challenges that I went through with my first pregnancy and postpartum, the hospital that I gave birth to Kosi in was slightly incompetent, right? I tried to look for a better word, but I'm just going to say it as it is, right? First off, the antenatal classes were quite poor. I got like little to no information during the antenatal classes during my first pregnancy in that hospital. And then when it came time to give birth, I wasn't properly managed. I had like a second, again, because I did not have proper information or adequate information during the antenatal classes like I should have. When I was pushing my baby out, I had like a second, and sometimes, honestly, I feel like it was a 3rd-degree tear. And then I wasn't stitched properly or something, and the tear kept breaking down. And I had like an infection, and it went on, and it took me 6 bloody months to fully heal from my tear. After all that, guess what? I still wanted to stick with the hospital, right? So I was going there for vaccinations, which I was paying for out of pocket, which wasn't too bad for me. And then, but the breaking point for me was one time when, number one, they had forgotten to tell me when to come for Kosi's next vaccination. So we missed her vaccination by some weeks. And then secondly, when we now eventually got there, after I had spoken with some people and they were like, oh, have you gone for this week vaccination? I was like, am I supposed to do that? When I eventually went to the hospital, they now almost mixed up the vaccine that they were going to give to her. And like caused a scene. I screamed at the top of my voice. I was so upset. And I took my baby and I left the hospital and I never went back. When I was pregnant with baby number 2, it just made sense to switch hospitals. I had switched hospitals before then, right? So again, like I said, trying to manage like the breakdown of the tear that I was having and, you know, just managing myself postpartum, I was referred to another hospital, which is it who or which? And they took care of me well, right? I mean, to a large extent. So when I found out I was pregnant, it just made sense to continue using this second hospital that I was already referred to and was already a bit familiar with. So they took care of me well. And so when the gynecologist was trying to get my history on the first pregnancy, and I told her that I had hyperemesis gravidarum during my first pregnancy, and that I hope that I don't have it the second pregnancy, she chuckled. And she was like, well, if you had it the first pregnancy, you most likely are going to have it this pregnancy. And that's exactly what happened. Okay, so just, you know, putting it out there so that if you had it the first pregnancy, or if you've had it in your previous pregnancy and you're hoping that you do not have it in the next pregnancy, maybe it is something to consider. Hopefully you are an exception and it doesn't, you know, reoccur in your next pregnancy. But if it does, then just know that it's normal. It's not anything that you could have avoided per se. I had all of that. I had that for throughout my first trimester. As usual, I was admitted in the hospital on 2 different occasions. I lost quite a lot of weight. I was given medication again. This time around, I was given 2 types of medication. So the first one that they gave me was making the symptoms worse. So it was making me throw up more and I couldn't keep anything down. So they had to change and give me a stronger medication, which, you know, sort of helped manage the situation a little bit, you know. So yeah, there was that. And this time around, my diagnosis, or the diagnosis, was hyperemesis gravidarum, which threatened miscarriage. I don't know why, but thankfully God was with me throughout the pregnancy and I had a very beautiful and healthy baby, even though the pregnancy period was rough. So I finished from hyperemesis gravidarum, right? I recovered, thank God, thank you Jesus, and guess what? I had COVID. in January this year. And I was just like, am I ever going to catch a break in this pregnancy? And then I had COVID. In fact, the entire house had COVID. Me, my husband, my daughter. We had to get the nanny on medication just in case, since she was staying in a COVID household. We didn't want to wait for her to have it or to break down or anything. And then when I recovered from that, it was something else. It was always something during the pregnancy. So there was a time I remember, oh my goodness, now God was really with me. I remember there was a time where they couldn't find the baby's heartbeat, and see, the way I panicked that time, I just started praying, and God came through. And when we did another scan, everything was okay. After that, there was a time where I think my pulse was high. There was another time when my blood level was low. There was another time where there was protein in my urine on two or three different occasions. Another time where when I did it, I had like, would I say a scare? So I did the OGTT test, right, which is I can't remember what it is in full, but it's basically a sugar test that you do at 28 weeks pregnant. I did it and my sugar level was high. We had to manage it, and thankfully when I did a repeat one, it was okay. So I did not have gestational diabetes. My thyroid levels were low. I had to do repeat thyroid function tests. See, it was one thing or the other. And then my energy levels never came back up, right? So unlike the first pregnancy when I scaled through first trimester and all of those issues, I was fine to like push the baby out. This time around, I just did not have the energy for anything throughout the pregnancy. Right, I was almost always tired. I had to take a lot of rest. I had to scale back a lot, when it came to work and all. And it was, so imagine that, and then having a toddler. And at a point, there was like maybe 1 to 2 months where I did not have a nanny, and it was just me, pregnant, heavily pregnant and tired me, and then Kosi, a toddler. It was very interesting. It was a very interesting pregnancy, right? But thankfully, like I said, I scaled through. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted like a labor experience-ish vlog, right? Labor went well. As usual, I cried for an epidural, but I didn't get the epidural. And quite a number of things happened, but thankfully baby came. And my birth experience this time around was sweeter, right? So like the first time where I had like a terrible tear and it took me like months to recover from it, this time around I had in fact, the doctor literally said it was like this. And honestly did not require stitches, but he was like, since he was already there and they were cleaning me up, let him just stitch so that it heals quicker. And when I tell you that after I pushed the baby out, by the next day I was myself. At a point, like some weeks after, when I was just meditating on the entire experience, I broke down in tears because it was so different from the first one. Like I felt so much like myself. I was not in any form of pain, right? The week I got back from the hospital, I could enter the kitchen to cook something. I'm just thankful. I'm just really thankful to God, because it really could only have been God. Something else that I did differently this pregnancy or this time around was that I had registered for a special antenatal class by let's say a company now called Birth Safe on Instagram. I would link the handle in the description box if you're a pregnant woman or you know a pregnant woman who wants to have like more information, right? Because I had a lot more information in the antenatal classes than I did in the first hospital, and even in the second hospital that is even better than the first hospital. And my theory is, because maybe this person had time to sit down and structure a class, unlike doctors in the hospitals who are seeing patients and have a number of patients to go through a day, and so they can't really spend a lot of time giving you information. All right, that's my own theory. All right, but that class was extremely helpful. You learn things like what to eat, so you keep your weight in check and keep the baby's weight in check. How to control your sugar levels, exercises to do to help you to go into labor, to help you go into labor naturally, which honestly is why I joined that class or paid for the class, right? Because with my first baby, I was induced and it was a horrible experience. It's not generally a horrible, people have been induced and had a good experience, but for me, it was horrible. And I was so traumatized by that experience that I did not want to be induced for any of my pregnancies again. right? So I'm happy that even though I almost got induced, I went, as usual, I went past my due date, and so I was scheduled for an induction. But thankfully, as God will have it, there was a delay, right? A 24-hour delay that prevented me from being admitted in hospital. And then when they then rescheduled it, by the time I went home to go back the next day for the rescheduled induction process, I went into labor naturally. Everything has just been better this time around postpartum. My husband is very helpful as usual as he was during the first pregnancy. In fact, he was very helpful during the pregnancy itself, not even just postpartum. During the pregnancy itself, I have thanked him so much, and I'm just going to say thank you to him again here in this video. He made it easier for me, especially because this time it was different. Like, my body handled the pregnancy differently this time around. I had severe back aches and leg cramps, and sometimes she was sitting, on one side of my hip, so I would be limping. I started limping early. In fact, not even early. I started limping, okay, early, and then throughout till I gave birth, compared to my first pregnancy where I did not even waddle at all, right? Like my first pregnancy, people see me and be like, you don't look like you're pregnant, But this time around, I looked and felt pregnant. Now, it's been interesting being a family of 4. So me, of course, me, my husband, my first daughter, Kosi, and then now this newborn, or this baby. She's still a newborn. She's almost 4 months now. So maybe not. But the latest addition, has made us 4. And it's been interesting. I remember Kosi's first time meeting her. It was a mix of cute and hilarious. It was just so funny. Cuckoo.
See mama. Baby. I'm baby. Say hello to baby.
Mama, see your sister. Baby. See baby. Okay? Yes, please.
See her hand on her waist.
Yeah, go. Yeah, touch baby. Touch baby. You don't carry baby. See your sister. Say hi.
I've also surprisingly adjusted well to being a mom to 2 kids. I struggled a bit those first 2 weeks because I wanted to be there for the baby, right? Take care of myself and take care of the baby, but I also wanted to be there for Kosi so that she doesn't feel neglected and so that it's not the start of sibling rivalry, right? I was very conscious of that. I was able to structure it in a way where I spend time with her. So maybe when I'm well rested and the baby is sleeping, because thankfully oh my goodness, she's a very chill baby. Like right now I'm talking and she's in her crib just here and she's sleeping. And even if she wakes up, she'll probably just be there and stare around and look around for a very long while or time. And then when you do not come to get her, she may not start making noises. Compared to Kosi, who would start crying immediately she wakes up. She's a very chill baby. A very chill baby. I cannot even overemphasize. Even my husband is like, we're enjoying with her. And Kosi showed us Pepe because, oh my God, Kosi was a very clingy baby. She, not so much. She's an independent sleeper. Unlike Kosi, who till date, we have to help her to get to sleep, or to sleep. She's independent, and once you put her down and she has been fed and burped and changed, she can go to sleep by herself, without disturbing anyone. So it's been very, I've been able to, handle or manage being a mom to 2 kids well, in my opinion, right? And hopefully, my daughter or my children can grow up and say that I did a good job. But in my opinion, I think I've been able to handle it well. In fact, I'm currently homeschooling my first daughter, so it's making me or helping me spend more time with her once I have gotten my rest from taking care of myself and taking care of the baby. I also have more help now, so compared to the first time where I did not, have a nanny and it was practically just me, my husband and the baby, and my sister on occasions when she came around. This time around, there's a nanny 24/7, who takes care of Kosi. And sometimes maybe if I need to switch roles or, take Kosi from her, I can give the baby to her and I'm not feeling overwhelmed. I also, thankfully, I'm not going through any postpartum blues or depression like I did the first time. It's just been bliss. I know I've said it a number of times in this video, but I am very, very, very thankful to God, for the pregnancy, for the latest addition to our family, and for how everything has been going on so far. Kosi is also being the sweetest big sister, so a lot of times in the mornings, she comes around when I'm either trying to give her sister a bath or change her or feed her. And one very cute thing that she does, whenever her sister is crying, she drags one of us, either myself or my husband, to go and pick her. And if we're not going to pick her fast enough, she also starts crying. It's a very cute thing that she does. And she has been doing it from the hospital. She's so in love with her sister, right? Like I said, the first 1-2 weeks were a bit rough because she was trying to adjust. I was giving all of my attention to the baby, so she was feeling slightly neglected. She was fighting for attention. But I've been able to adjust and, manage that properly or effectively. And so both of them are getting enough attention from me. So she's just been the cutest baby sister, or big sister rather. She always wants to carry her. She would come and stretch her hands and, which is signifying literally like this, so you can put the baby on her palms. And, of course, once she does that, tell her, okay, go and sit down, and she runs to go and sit down, and then she's like this, and then we give her sister. It's the cutest thing. It's the cutest thing, and I'm just very, very, very thankful. Now, what is this going to mean for my channel? Honestly, not much, right? I'm still going to continue filming my regular content. However, one big change that's going to happen that you're going to notice on my channel is that I will not be posting vlogs anymore. Not because I do not enjoy it, right? But because I'm currently trying to grow my YouTube channel, and unfortunately I haven't gotten to that stage where a lot of people care about my personal life, right? If you're going to, according to what I have heard from big creators and big YouTubers, if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, it's best to start with maybe educational content or highly valuable content, right? And vlogs, yes, they can be valuable, but you need to have an invested and interested audience already established, such that when you upload those vlogs, they are, looking forward to seeing what's going on in your personal lives. Unfortunately, I'm not at that point here on YouTube yet. On Instagram, yes, So I'm going to be moving my vlogs over to Instagram. So if you're following me on Instagram and you're wondering, or you've noticed that I've started posting more vlogs, that is why, right? So I want to move the vlogs over to my Instagram, since, by the way, that is my lifestyle platform, right? And here for now, or at least for the next 1 year, we'll be on strictly creating valuable content for creators, right? So if you don't already know, on this channel I share, the behind the scenes of like running a content creation business, where you need to know as a content creator, terms to get familiar with, things to have, how to protect yourself, and all of that, happens here on this channel. So that is what to expect from me going forward on this channel, at least for the next 1 year. My posting schedule is going to remain the same by the grace of God. The plan is to upload a video once every week, and my upload days are still Fridays. If that changes, I'll probably communicate it somehow, but I still plan to post at least 1 video every week. And let's see how far this channel can go. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for your support. Thank you for sticking around even when I was absent for some months. I truly appreciate you. Like I said, if you are a content creator, whether you're a startup content creator or you're an experienced content creator, and you have like maybe questions, or you like to hear another creator's perspective on certain things in the content creation business, then you're going to enjoy this channel. We're going to have so much fun on this channel, at least or for the next 1 year. So you want to stick around. If you're not yet subscribed and you're finding me for the first time and you're interested in that sort of content, and you also want to hit the subscribe button so you'll see videos from me whenever they go up. Okay, I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay safe, stay fabulous, stay blessed. Goodbye.